What's going on, chess lover? This is Maurice Bishop Chess, and y'all know my slogan, life is a game of chess. For all y'all that's watching my content for the first time, and you're the one that want to get better in chess, whether it's opening, middle game, or end game, or maybe you're on my channel because you want to not only find out how to be successful on the chessboard, but also successful in life. Or maybe you're on my channel because you want to be entertained with the live bullet and blitz games that I play online. If this is you, turn on that notification bell on, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also guys, if you have any questions about chess or any content that you want me to upload to my channel, definitely drop that comment below and I will give you the content that you requested. Without further ado, let's actually get started on this video. Peace. Chess lover, this is Maurice Bishop Chess, and tonight I'm gonna teach you how to play the Jobava London system using example games of Jobava himself. I know a lot of y'all like playing the London system, and y'all go to chessable.com and actually buy your courses, and y'all try to study the London system itself. To me, I highly recommend playing the actual Jobava London system itself. It's actually up my alley. It's very tactical. It's a very solid opening, and this is actually an opening that I actually would play in tournaments. So without further ado, let's actually get started, guys. All right. So guys, obviously Jobava, this is actually an actual game that Jobava played. Jobava played as white, and the person that he's playing is Quang Liem, who is also a grandmaster. They both grandmasters, but the person he's playing is Quang Nguyen. And believe it or not, Quang Nguyen was Quang Liem, Liem. He was actually one of the World Blitz champion. You know, I believe in 2013. In matter of fact, let's actually see. So yeah, he was a World Champion 2005, Asian Blitz Champion 2013, and World Blitz Champion in 2013, and Asian Champion in 2019. So that's what he was, and he was a Grandmaster in 2006. So you can just imagine he's a very strong player, and this is his picture, very strong player and everything. So it's pretty amazing actually, you know, such a strong player. And Jobava, which is he's right here. But this is Jobava. This is a picture for all y'all that don't know who Jobava is. This is his picture, and if you look at him, he's Georgia's top player, Georgian champion 2003, 7, and 12, and you can just imagine he again a very strong player. So I'm gonna put I'm gonna put the history in the description box, so you won't have to try to find a site. I'll actually post it on the description box below, so y'all can actually read it yourself. But without further ado, let's actually get started with this. Jobava played as white, and Quang Liem played as black. Alright, so d4 is played, knight f6, knight c3, d5, bishop f4, e6, knight b5. So look at this, guys. Now, normally, I know a lot of y'all like to play, you know, d4, knight f6, and y'all play bishop f4, and then usually they'll play like e6, and y'all play e3, and then after knight c6, y'all play c3. You know, usually that's how y'all play it. You know, y'all leave this knight back here. So, but that's not how that's gonna go. So knight c3 is what's played, which is why I really like the move knight c3. You'll see why though in a minute. So bishop f4, e6 is played. Now remind you guys, if you're playing a Jobava London system and you have the knight on c3 and the bishop on f4, this is very good. Now notice black, he has his pawn on e6. So now he's blocking his light square bishop from getting into the fight. Now normally people would play bishop f5 first before they play pawn e6. But because of the pawn is on e6 and bishop light square bishop is on c8, now this light square bishop is trapped, so he's gonna have a little bit of problem Normally, some people may play b6 and then go bishop b7, but black comes up with some problems and everything, and it's not really that good. So knight b5. Now look at this, guys. Knight b5. He's threatening knight c7 on check, checking the king and then the rook as well. So of course black defends with knight a6, pawn e3. Now remember, guys, this is something that black should have did. Black should have went bishop f5 and then go e6. But now this dark square bishop for white is very active, whereas this light square bishop is not active. So keep that in mind, guys. Knight c3, I'm telling y'all guys, knight c3 is the way to go, man. I love it. Alright, so c6 is played. He wanted to back the knight out the way, which is fine. Knight c3. And then knight c7. Now look at this, guys. So I played the Jobava London system before. So I had people or my opponent play c5 before, and all I usually do is just go knight f3, and then they'll usually lock it up, and I just go a3. And the reason why I go a3 because I want to prevent this bishop from going b4. So definitely keep this in mind if somebody ever played that on you. It's actually like I said, it's a pretty good position for white. Alright, so knight c7, knight f3 is played, bishop d6. Now guys, I lie to you not. So obviously in this game, this guy played bishop d6. I had an opponent who played bishop b4 on me. Literally, he played bishop b4 on me. I go bishop d3. He goes knight e4, and then I just castle. So this is what happened. So in the game that I played, when he went knight e4, I took the knight back, and he goes bishop captures c3, and then I go rook b1. And the reason why I sacrificed the pawn was because I wanted the strong b file as well. Again, this light square bishop is pretty much trapped and everything, so it's not really nothing he can do, you know. And the thought that I had in this position was I had stuff like queen e2, maybe pushing the pawn on e4. You know, I had thoughts like that, right? But in this position, my opponent, he actually castled kingside. So in this position, I did something, guys. Bishop captures h7 check. He takes knight g5 check. He goes king g8, and I go queen on h5. And of course my opponent resigned after this. And the reason why he resigned, because even if he goes rook e8, I go queen captures f7 check, king h8, queen h5 check, king g8, h7 check, king f8, queen h8, king e7, and then queen captures g7 checkmate. So again, when you're playing the London system and they castle, man, it is bad news. So you got to make sure your pieces is literally, you know, positioned right for you to even do an attack like that. So just remember this patterns, man. If you need to replay my video, man, definitely replay it. You know, I'm showing y'all patterns so that y'all can easily remember it, you know. Alright, so that was just an example of one of my games, how I played the London system. I'm not a Jobava London system player, but I tested it out before and it won me games. And which is why, you know, I'm really thinking about playing it in tournaments as well. Which I wouldn't mind playing in tournaments as well. It's pretty solid, and it's kind of, to me, it's easy to remember. Alright guys, so let's see what Jobava did. Jobava goes knight f3. So his opponent goes bishop d6. Alright. So knight e5 is played. And this is actually Ginger GM, he actually did a course on a Jobava system, and he talks about knight e5. In which I honestly think he just got it from Jobava himself, because this is actually what Jobava, this is how he plays it. So knight e5 is played. The thing is, guys, you gotta look at it like this. The dark square bishop doesn't want to exchange that knight for his opponent, or for black. Black doesn't want to exchange this knight for his bishop. It's going to be pretty bad because I have an active dark square bishop, and Potentially, I can create, not actually potentially, I can create dark square weaknesses around the king. If black loses dark square bishop and everything, it's not gonna be very pleasant for him if he does that. So it's not really a good idea for the dark square bishop to exchange for that knight. So just keep that in mind. So black castles, queen f3 is played, c5 is played, castle queenside. This is why I love this opening, because it's just so flexible. This opening, if y'all are London system players, I highly recommend to play the Jobava London system, because it's so flexible. It's so easy to remember. It is. I'm telling you guys, it is easy. It's easy to remember. I love it. I highly recommend it. I tried it in the games, like I just showed y'all with my examples, how I did it. I love it. Alright, so he castled queenside, c4 is played. He tried to lock the position down. And the whole reason of him going pawn to c4, because obviously he wanted to go to b5, maybe a5, start a pawn storm, and try to open up the queenside. But it would, the thing that you will know about the Jobava London system is actually is more deadlier. Like, we get the attack first. So what Jobava did is he goes g4. Lang actually goes b5. G5 is played, hitting the knight on g5, and then knight f8. Now, when I looked at this position or whatever, because I played it a good amount of times, I didn't like knight fe8. Like I said, I can't think of what this grandmaster is thinking, but when I was doing my analysis, even though he's giving up a pawn, I kind of figured knight e4 would actually be a little bit better, only because if knight catches e4, d catches. If queen catches e4, then you have knight d5. So at least the knight is threatening to take this dark square bishop, because that's actually something that we will want, you know. So I'm not thinking about how I'm gonna defeat black, but you also got to think about what black will want as well. You know, in this position, black will love to get a hold of white's dark square bishop because it's very active. And then, of course, if the bishop goes back to g3, you know, I feel like black will have some type of chances or whatever. I just think, even though I think he loses a pawn, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So yeah, black will he'll be down a pawn, but he'll have this nice knight on d5, and he'll still have some type of chances with some of the pawn storms and everything, and then maybe bishop b7 as well, which also will be coming as well. So that was something that I would actually recommend as far as black wise. I mean, that's just how I'm thinking. Because number one, I don't like moving backwards. I don't like going back to knight e8. That's just not me. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna just move forward. Even if I gotta give a pawn up, I'm gonna just give a pawn up, just for some type of initiative in a better position. That's just me. All right. So h4. This is what he plays. And always remember, guys, if you're playing a London system, always remember that g4 pawn push and that h4 pawn push, because that's one of the main things about the Jobava London system. We attack, you know, that's what they do. So as you can see, you know, black is a little cramped. Obviously, this light square bishop is not getting into the fight at all. He got a light square weakness on the c6, you know, especially with something like knight c6, you know, things like that. It's looking pretty ugly right now for black. So obviously, Lane goes f6. You know, because you know his knight is also inactive as well. This light square bishop is inactive. This knight on e8 is inactive, and the knight is actually trying to find a way to get some type of space, which is why I went back to this knight e4 square. Instead of moving backwards, I thought knight e4 would have been a better move. But now that he moved backwards, now he's getting problems like this, where he's trying to force a pawn break so that he can get some knight activity. So because of f6, Jobava actually took. And anytime, and I'm gonna tell you, this is the principle, guys. Anytime you have a pawn that's going on f6 and your pawn is on g5, you want to automatically take or anywhere because you just want to get that g file opening. This is what you want. You want a g file opening where you can put your rook right in front of the king. That's what you want. So just keep that in mind when you're playing the Jobava London system. So obviously, he takes on knight captures f6. He goes rook g1. As you can see, the rook is in front of the king. b4 is played, not a problem. Knight a4. Now, guys, with the knight a4, I found a move that was pretty. I kind of like. I kind of liked it. Queen g2. I figure why not, because I mean, just think about it, guys. The rook can't go f7 because the knight is here. We're threatening queen captures g7. You know, and then even if he goes g6, we can actually sack on knight captures g6 and threat mating attacks from right here. The only thing I did see was the queen can go e7 to try to, you know, block something. Like for instance, if he goes queen e7, let's actually see what the engine says about that. Yeah, and that's what I was looking at. Knight c6. If he goes knight c6, queen d7, yeah, and this is the thing, because of that dark square, bishop will take, and the queen can't take none of these pieces because he's being threatened by queen captures g7. So that's why I like queen g2. So I was actually right. I was right about queen g2. So queen g2 was actually a good move. So that's what I prefer. You know, get that attack going, you know. Alright, guys, but Jobava, he did something else. Jobava, instead of going queen g2, he goes knight a4. And then Liem, he goes bishop d7, hitting the knight on a4. Again, queen g2 is still in effect. He could actually really he could still actually play queen g2, but he doesn't do that. He goes knight c5. Not a problem. Again, queen g2 was still an option. Like for instance, if knight c to e8, knight c5. If bishop captures, d captures c5, rook c8, bishop captures c4. Now look at this, guys. Rook, bishop captures c4. Look at the tactics, which is the Jobava London system. Look at the tactics here. The whole point of going bishop captures c4 because if d captures c4, then pawn c6. Remind you, the rook is right in front of this queen right here, so the bishop can't take that pawn right there because of the rook. And then even if, you know, b3 will take, he'll go c catches b3 and we'll go bishop g5 because right now we're threatening queen catches g7, or maybe I'm sorry, not queen catches g7, but bishop catches g7. If for some reason, I don't know, let's say knight h5, if he goes knight h5, then after rook captures on d7, this is pretty much a lost cause after this. This is just nasty. This is like really nasty, guys. Rook captures d7. This is just crazy. So, but like I said, I'm gonna put all the games in the description box so y'all can check it out yourself. But this is just so nasty, guys. Alright, so knight c5 is played, right? So his opponent goes bishop e8, putting his bishop back and guarding this c6 square. And then Jobava hit him with the knight b7, hitting the queen. I'm sorry, hitting the queen and also hitting the dark square bishop. Alright. And then queen e7 is played. Now look at this, guys. I was also looking at something else. I was wondering, what if black decides to go bishop h5? Like, is there something that he would do after this? So I looked at it and I was analyzing it. I was figuring, well, he is forking the queen and he's also hitting the rook as well. So why not go queen g2? I mean, to me, that's logical. Queen g2. He can't take the rook right now because I'm threatening mate, right? So what if he goes queen e7? I was always thinking about it. What if he goes there? Ah, look at this. We still have knight captures d6. The queen can't take this because of queen captures g7, which is what I was looking at, right? So then, what if he doesn't take the knight? What if he just takes the rook? Bishop captures d1. Then we go king captures d1, right? So then, if knight h5, then knight c6, which is what I was looking at. And then if queen d7, then we have bishop e5. So now we're hitting this pawn 1, 2, 3 times, right? And it's being defended twice by the knight and by the queen, right? So then if the queen captures on c6, then this would be very bad, guys, because you know why? Queen captures g7 check, knight captures, rook captures g7 check. If he goes king h8, then rook g1 check. And, you know, and I know a lot of y'all probably was thinking about rook captures c7 check, winning the queen, but we don't got to do that, because why win a queen when we can just mate off the bat? So rook g1 check. The only piece he can use to stop the check is with the rook. But then after bishop captures f6, this would be checkmate. This is just nasty, guys, for real. This is just nasty. Alright, guys, so queen e7, right? Jobava goes knight captures d6, queen captures d6, and then, guys, Jobava did an amazing move, guys. Literally, he did an amazing move. I'll give y'all 3 seconds to try to figure out the move that Jobava did. This is just crazy, man. What do you think the move he did? I'll give y'all 3 seconds to figure it out. Alright, guys, the move that Jobava did was rook captures g7 check. This is so amazing, guys. This is so amazing. This is just crazy, guys. So rook captures g7, king captures g7, and then queen g2 check. This is what he played. Also, guys, another better move probably would have been queen g3, but it doesn't really matter because it's still going to work either way. Bishop g6, he blocks the check. Knight captures g6. Notice, guys, this is like a discover attack, because not only did he take the light square bishop with knight g6, but the bishop on f4 is hitting the queen as well. Look at this, guy. Look what else would happen. Queen a6, queen a6. This is where black goes, and then white goes knight e5 check, and then the king goes to h8, and then, guys, I'm gonna let you find this again. I'll give y'all 3 seconds to find out the crazy blow that Jobava did in this game. Just find out the move that white did. This is so crazy. Alright, guys. So the move that Jobava did, he played bishop captures c4. Obviously in this game, his opponent didn't take, he went queen b7. But what would happen if this pawn, or if the pawn takes the light square bishop? If he takes, rook g1 will be played, right? Again, guys, look at this. Yes, we're threatening queen g7 checkmate, right? So notice that he can't go rook g8 because of knight f7 checkmate. This is a smothers mate. This is just nasty, right? So what else you think he could do? Well, after rook g1, his opponent played, oh my bad, guys. His opponent played knight e8, guarding this this g7 square, because he didn't want white to mate him on g7, right? So this is what he played. But then Jobava played bishop a6. Again, black still can't go rook g8 because rook can't go g8 because of knight s7 check. So this rook has to stay here because it has to guard this s7 square. You know, because if he goes rook g8, knight s7 comes and he gets mated. Right? So his opponent goes Queen D6, and then Bishop G7 check, and then King G8, and then Bishop captures F6 checks with a double check. And then I'm telling y'all guys, after this is just pretty much over after this. It's really nothing he could do. Either you're gonna block the knight with knight G7, and then we'll just mate him like that. I'm, I'm saying like he had another option. He doesn't have another option, guys. He doesn't have another option at all. This is pretty much what's going to be me, because this is really the only place he could block it with is knight G7, and then this would be checkmate. But of course, guys, his opponent, he never took the light square bishop. He just went to Queen B7. But then after Bishop A6, his opponent resigned after this, because this was because number one, he's down a piece. Well, he pretty much got 2 pieces for the rook and everything, and this is just nasty, guys. This is just very, very nasty. Even with Bishop A6, let's see. Even if Black decides to go Knight B5, because he needs the Queen to guard the G7 square, we're automatically just going to win another piece, and White is pretty much up, and this is just like very deadly after that. So yeah, his opponent resigned, guys. His opponent resigned. But as y'all look at this game, you could just see how tactical this game was. You could just see how Jobava London system was just fighting, man. It was just a lot of attacks and a lot of tactical abilities going in this game. This is why I'm a fan of the Jobava London system instead of the actual London system itself, because the London system, man, it's just easy to remember. It's just a lot of things you can do with it. This is why I love this game. This is actually one of my favorite games with the Jobava London system. This really gives you exactly how to play this opening, which is why I love it. That's why I had to share it with y'all. Well, guys, if you like this video, please like, please share, please comment. Let me know y'all feelings about this Jobava London system. If y'all have any other games where y'all actually playing the Jobava London system yourself, and y'all just want me to post y'all games and everything, I would definitely do that, and I'll do an analysis for y'all, strictly for y'all. If y'all have any other questions, again, just drop the comment below. And also, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Alright, guys, peace.